Chairman and Managing Director of Gargi Hutchinsons Albertus Private Limited, to enlighten the audience on the foundry and casting industry globally and share his vision for its growth.
Good morning, everybody. Binaji, thank you for inviting me. And of course, I'm so happy to see Mr. Ravi Sehgal, past president of IAF, and I can see Mr. Bam also, I can see Mr. Garg also. Thank you all for being here today. This gives a lot of encouragement to the foundry industry. Dear foundrymen, ladies and gentlemen, and of course the eminent speakers who are here with us today, and our friends from overseas. I would like to congratulate MMR for having organized 10th Foundry Seminar. You will notice a lot of associations have come who have done it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then they quietened down. But Binaji has been doing an excellent job in 10 years to have a good gathering of foundrymen, and also a foundry review. The tabloid which has come out, it's an excellent platform, and I would like to thank her on behalf of IAF and also WFO, that she's been one of the main encouraging person for the foundry industry and the foundrymen. Today, foundry industry is going through a most challenging phase. The customers' demands are become like seesaw. Suddenly, large requirements, suddenly postponement, and suddenly suspension of supplies. Now, as a foundryman, you'll understand it is very difficult to organize such production and productivity. Today, as a president of WFO, that is a World Foundry Organization, I'm very thankful to the members of IAF, and of course the IAF who nominated my name in the Executive Council of WFO, and it has taken me 5 years to be elected as a president of WFO. I am proud to represent my country as a growth of foundries in the world has come into now only China and India, and first another 2-3 countries. Rest everywhere you'll find it's been a negative growth. I thought I'd share with you what is WFO. World Foundry Organization means the involvement with the member associations in 30 countries who have history of 86 years. WFO creates a network of knowledge and technical resources. One of the WFO's main function is to bring members of the industry together and distribute appropriate information in a standardized and systemized way. Hence, World Foundry Congress is held every 2 years to offer the opportunity to technical proposals. Worldwide foundry status is very interesting, as some of the countries are doing well and some countries have, as I told you, showing a negative growth. I thought I'd like to share with you as to what is happening around the world. China, there are about 30,000 foundries producing 43 million tons, or about 40% of the global casting production. The worldwide production is 100 million ton, or I would say 102 million tons plus. However, the consumption of castings is China is still low at only something like 30 kg per capita. So I'm sure China is going to grow much faster in time to come. They have diversified more on a high technology casting production, and there's a high level of technology upgradation in foundries, in particular molding and melting areas. There is a growth of local equipment industry also. The Chinese industry considers the following as the key issues of the future. I think it's more or less applicable to us also. Labor productivity, too many very small foundry units, high scrap levels, need for technical and skilled people, better management, problems of misguided investment, and need for better energy and environment control. It is expected that the 2014 there will be continued growth in output and consumption in China. Regarding USA, which ranks a little ahead of us, between second and third there is always a race between India and USA. There are about 2,000 foundries, of which 700 are ferrous and 1100 are non-ferrous. The industry has about 2 lakh direct employees, with 80% of these in business of less than 100 people. There is a anticipated growth in 2014 and 2015 in ductile iron, aluminium, magnesium and copper, and expected limited growth in grey iron and steel. The main benefits to achieve these are low energy cost, improving productivity, reduced international shipping costs, and reshoring program by American casting buyers. The drive for automotive weight down programs through use of aluminium and magnesium castings has had knock-on effect and benefited thin wall iron and steel castings, compacted graphite and austempered ductile iron production. Now this is a trend which has come in USA. This is something will be interesting for the members of our country to know, because a lot of cast iron foundries are coming up, and how the trend comes, that is to be seen. Japan, in 2013 they had the 2013 production was less than 2012. Okay, not marginally less. Last 4 years, stable but low level of business compared with the golden years of 90 and 08. After tsunami, they have had a real, they have suffered, and the foundry industry has been going down. The iron sector accounts for about 62% of the industry, and balance is non-ferrous. 2013 production was about 5.5 million. It was less than the previous year. The user profile is approximately 53% for automobile industry and 10% for general machines and other 6%. There are about 2062 foundries, and in last year, that is 2013, 7 went bankrupt. When I say 7 went bankrupt, they were the large foundries. The industry clearly has serious energy problems with very high cost. Despite the difficulties, the automotive industry has, however, recovered. So Japanese foundrymen have confidence in future. In Germany, which again ranks 4th, its productivity increased much, something like 14% in 2012, and last year also was more of a little plus point. Our country, India, the foundry industry is shifting, as I told you earlier, the foundry industry is shifting to Asia. I'll just give you some growth figures, so that will give an idea how the growth has been. In 06, India has changed its rank from 7th to 4th, and in 2011 we stood 2nd position, and last 2 years it's a race between us and USA. Now right now we are 3rd, just they are marginally ahead of us. There is an expectation of about 5.7% growth in the economy in the next 12 months. The foundry industry has seen about 10 to 15% drop in output with as some of them were linked with the automotive foundries. Seeing all falls around, and few foundries like a steel foundries had a real setback last year. But now I see a change happening. In spite of fall in demand, the current year, many of the projects, for example, a lot of groups in foundry groups, as you know, things have changed a lot in last 10 years. Now we are going to have foundry groups in our country and in the future. The projects which had started 3 years back are going to be completed, and some of the giant groups are emerging with very large capacities. For example, Amtech Group, they have come out with nearly 5 foundries, Hindujals, Kirloskar Ferrous, and among the medium and small foundries, especially in the cluster area like Coimbatore or Kolhapur or Rajkot, you'll be surprised that the foundries who are producing 1,000 ton or 2,000 ton have put up a project of double the capacity, and most of the projects are being completed or they'll be completed this year. Whereas technology concerns, the new foundry which are coming up will have a good equipment for melting, core making centers and high pressure molding lines. Also, many of the foundries and the new foundries coming up have invested good amount of capital equipment for environment. But another area which is a concern area is India is suffering from difficulty as labor rates have increased by 10 to 15% and the material cost by 5 to 10%. There are continued issues in finding and recruiting skilled labor and qualified labor. Today, the issues which all of us face, actually practically every country is facing today, finding a good skilled manpower, and of course fall in demand which is like a seesaw, power at high cost which has come, and of course availability of good quality of sand. However, there is a general feeling of optimism for 14-15, and training is a key area for the Institute of Indian Foundrymen. Recently, another development has taken place which is very interesting. A foundry near Pune has added a new technology. We have been reading about it, but it has come into our country today. 3D printed sand molds and cores directly from CAD. And this will definitely help to reduce lead time, superior hydraulic balance, design complexity, accuracy and uniformity. Well, we look forward. Recent headlines are very encouraging. So that's what keeps us going. If you go to see the recent headlines in last 3-4 months, you will find like we depend something like 35%, between 33 and 35% in India on the auto sector. And the main consumer of casting, tractor, has showing good growth, and it has been showing good growth. And last year it had been 20% plus, and this year also expected to continue growing. This is only one of the consumer of the casting. In last decade it has shown at the rate of between 12 to 13% every year growth. Very must have read Maruti is selling 3 million cars annually in India. Force Motor plans to invest around 1,000 crore in next 4 years. Manufacturing sector posts fastest growth in last 17 months, that is in the month of July. Honda Motor to make India export hub for their manual transmissions. And Indian steel consumption is growing faster than the production. Well, if Indian steel industry grows, it definitely helps the foundry industry. I would like to end my talk with all of you. There's a very interesting quote from Lakshmi Mittal, famous industrialist. It says, "Everyone experiences tough times. It is a measure of your determination and dedication, how you deal with them and how you can come through them." And I'd like to thank all of you for inviting me and patient hearing. Before I step down, I have a memento which I would like to present